Today I'm going to show you how to finish and seal a diamond painting and then mount it either in a frame or on a canvas. Hi everyone, welcome to our Crazy Life Scotland. My name's Fiona, and in episode 3 of this Craft and Chat series I'm going to be showing you how I finish a diamond painting, one that's on canvas. 2 weeks ago I showed you a complete diamond painting tutorial from start to finish, but that was on a coaster. It's slightly different when you've got a diamond painting on a canvas because you need to find some way to display it. Let's get into this, shall we? First thing I'm going to do is measure the diamond painting so that I know what size frame or canvas I'm going to need. It does say up here that it's a 30 by 40 centimetre, but depending on the company, that can be the full size from edge to edge of the actual canvas, including the edges, or it can be the size of the diamond painted area. So let's just check which it is in this case. Yeah, so it's a full canvas that's 30 by 30. The actual diamond painting is 25 by 35. So depending what I'm doing, I'm not going to cut the edges off at the moment because I don't know if I'm going to be framing it or canvassing it, if you know what I mean. I'm either going to put it in a frame or put it in a canvas. But I just wanted to check that before I do anything else, because once I've got the sealer on it, I'm not going to want to get my tape measure anywhere near it. So the first thing I'm going to do is use a clean brush just to rub over the top of all of the drills to make sure that there's no hairs or dust or any little particles of wax left behind. Now you can see there where I'm pointing to, I've noticed that there's a drill missing. So this is a good time to tell you that once you've finished your diamond painting, don't pack away the drills until it's completely finished, because you could come across something like this. It might be one that I've missed when I was doing the diamond painting, or it might be one that wasn't stuck down properly and it's came off when I was brushing it. So I'm just looking out my spare drills and going to place the other one in there. There we go, and back to brushing again. Now, I use a toothbrush, it's up to you, you can use any soft brush that you want, and the aim is just to get rid of any little hairs or bits of wax or any other particles that might be sitting there that you don't want. And it is a good time to double check your canvas, like I said, to make sure that there's not any bits missing. I use two toothbrushes for this process, so I know that the pink one is the one that always stays clean. That is the one that I use for brushing over to get rid of any dust and things, and the blue one is the one that I use for sealing. But like I said, you can use any brush that you want. Right, I'll speed this up a bit for you. Sorry, the bottom of the canvas is not in shot. This is the first time that I've really worked overhead like this, so we're learning as we go. Once you're sure that your diamond painting is nice and clean, it's time to get the brayer out. Now you can use any kind of roller here. This one is for diamond painting, but you could use an empty bottle, an empty can. You can use anything that you want, as long as, oh, I've just spotted another drill that's missing there. I'll just quickly pop that in place before I carry on with the braying. But like I said, anything that you've got to hand that is not too harsh, and the aim of it is really just to make sure that all of your little drills are in place, they're stuck down properly, and that they're not going to come off at any point in the future, either when you're putting the sealer on or any time after that. And it's a good thing to do because quite often your drills can be sitting very slightly on top of each other, and that is an opportunity for them to fall off. So this just makes sure that they're all definitely stuck down properly. Okay, now we've been over all the diamond painting, we're sure all the drills are stuck down, it's time to get on with the sealing. And I will talk later on about the different types of products that you can use to seal your diamond paintings. Personally, I use this one from Crystal Art because it gives it a nice shimmery finish, and it is made specifically for diamond painting, but there's other options as well, which I will talk about later. So now for the fun part. You just want to get a tiny little bit of the diamond sealer at a time, and you want to apply it with something like a toothbrush. Like I say, I use these two all the time, but you can use anything that you want. I just find a toothbrush a nice cheap way of doing it. And what I like to do first is to concentrate right around all of the edges, because if you cut off the excess canvas later on, that is when some of your edge drills could fall off. So I do put a little bit more sealant on the edges than I do on the main part of the canvas. Now you just want to put small amounts of the sealer on your brush at any one time, and you're really supposed to do it in a dabbing motion rather than a sweeping motion, but I can't help myself. Sometimes I think, oh, dab, and then other times I just get carried away. But there you can see that I am taking off some hairs from my brush, so there might have been some, usually around the edges of a diamond painting, there's a little bit of the glue that doesn't get drilled, and that can attract hairs. So just be mindful when you are putting the sealant on to keep checking your brush, because you don't want to seal any hairs in there. So here I go, I'm just going to make sure that I go right round the edges. It's a bit like doing a jigsaw. I always do the edges first and then I concentrate on the bit in the middle. And so that's all I'm doing here, just going right round all of the edges. It will take a wee while, but just be patient with it. I'm sitting here watching YouTube videos while I do it. Now here I've found a really stubborn little hair that won't come out, so I'm just grabbing my tweezers and trying to get it out. Again, it's really important to get rid of them at this stage, because once the sealer goes on and sets, that's it, you're not going to get them out again. And quite often I put washi tape or something round the edges of my diamond painting where the exposed glue is, to stop all the hairs and things sticking to it, but I forget, and I forgot in this case. So it's not a big deal, just look out for any little hairs, and then I'm just carrying on again. So that's the edges all done. Now I'm just going back and sealing the middle bits inside. Again, it's a long process, just be patient. I finally realised that it wasn't all in shot and sorted it. Sorry about that. Right, let's speed this up until we're finished. Going back in with the tweezers there, and that is us about done. Right, once the sealer's on it all, I just take a baby wipe and gently rub over the top of the drills, because you want the sealer in between the drills rather than on top. It's not quite so important with this sealer that I use because it dries nice and clear and it is shimmery, but if you're using anything else, I would say this is a very important step. Just very gently rub over the top of the drills with a damp baby wipe or a damp cloth to make sure that your drills don't get dulled down by the sealer. And once you've finished going over it with your baby wipe, that is your diamond painting sealed. It's just a case of leaving it to dry now. I just like to put it in the light, just make sure I can see that everything's been done, there's not any other drills missing. Just one last final check before I let the sealer dry. Right, so that is the diamond painting all brushed and sealed. I'm going to talk to you about the things that you can use to seal it in a second, but first of all I want to say to make sure when you are putting your diamond painting aside to dry that you put it somewhere safe, that's not going to be dirty, dusty, hairy. It's especially important in my house because I have a cat who likes to walk over everything that I'm working on, and it would leave little shiny paw prints everywhere. And also the dogs, like Hugo's tail just wafts everything off of my craft worktop, so I need to keep it out the way of the animals, and you want to keep it somewhere relatively dust and hair free. Keep it at room temperature, and you can cover it if you've got like something high that's not going to actually lie on it, you can cover it, or you can just put it somewhere up high that's not going to get knocked over, that sort of thing. And how long you leave it to dry is up to you, and it will probably depend on your sealer as well. Right, so let's talk about the different sealers that you can use. I like using this Crystal Art Shimmer Sealer. It's specially developed for diamond painting, and it does leave little shimmery bits of glitter everywhere, and I just think it's gorgeous. Want to see if it says how long it should be left. So this one's to be left for at least 4 to 6 hours before you do anything else with it. That's the drying time, so that is fine. So like I said, I love using this. I will leave a link to it in the description. It's relatively expensive, but I've used it for so many things and I've still got loads left. I've still got over half left. So it's worth the money in my opinion, but it's entirely up to you. This I've only ever seen online at the Craft Buddy website. You might be able to get it other places, I'm not sure. The other thing that you can use is good old Mod Podge. Now you get this loads of different places, Hobbycraft. I've not seen it in the likes of B&M and Home Bargains and things, but any crafty type place, I'm sure the Works does it as well, you will be able to get it. Now this is the gloss Mod Podge. You get so many different ones now, I've got no idea. I mean, you can get it on Amazon and things like that as well. But it's a water-based sealer, and it says use on most surfaces. Yeah, this one it says to apply at least 5 coats and allow 20 to 30 minutes in between coats. But I suppose that just depends what you're putting it on. You can use that sort of thing. You can use, I've got a crystal clear lacquer. I can't remember what I got this for, but this says it can be used, it's a gloss finish. It can be used on metal surfaces, laminate, timber surfaces, tile, ceramic, glass and plastics. I've never used this on a diamond painting, but I would imagine it will be fine. Drying time 1 to 2 hours. I don't know, it says crystal clear, so it would dry clear. I think anything that dries clear you should be fine with. And I picked this up because I'm not sure whether this would work. Crystal Clear, it's a spray sealer, and it's clear with a semi-gloss finish, a quick drying, non-yellowing, durable clear top coat for interior and exterior use. Use on wood, metal and ceramics for a lasting professional finish. I honestly can't remember what I got this for, but I'm pretty sure this would work as well. So have a look at all the glues and things that you've got. If you don't want to go out and buy a specialised one. There might be other special diamond painting ones out there that I don't know about, but like I said, this is my favourite. But you can use anything like that. Anything that dries clear, you can use it, I would think. Maybe try it on a little test area first if it's something that I've not spoken about, just to see if it's going to be okay with the diamond painting. But it should be, as long as it dries clear, you should be fine. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to leave that overnight to dry because I've got other things to do today, and it doesn't matter how long you leave it. What I would say about sealing is some people don't bother, some people do. If you're putting it in a frame with glass, it's probably not essential, but I still like to do it now anyway because you saw a couple of the little diamond little drills lifting up there when I was doing it. So if they're not stuck on 100%, if it's sitting vertical for any length of time, it could just drop off and then you would have spaces in your canvas, which you don't want. So you don't need to do it, but I would recommend it for all the time it takes. That took a lot longer obviously than the likes of the key rings and things, but if you are doing a key ring or a coaster, definitely seal it, 100% seal it. So yeah, I'm going to leave that overnight now, and I'm going to have a look to see what frames I've got and what canvases I've got, and decide while that's drying what I'm going to use, how I'm actually going to mount it, and then I will come back to you. Good morning, it is now Sunday, so my diamond painting sealer is all dry, and let's have a look and see how it is. It is looking good. Can you see the sparkle? You get an extra sparkle because of the sealer that I used, but it would still sparkle anyway, even if you didn't use that. So it's looking good. You will notice it feels a little bit different. It feels a bit stiffer once it's been sealed, but that's normal. That's what you want because it means it's sturdier. What I do notice is there is still a bit of a crease down the middle there. You can't really see it on the camera. I did have it lying flat for a while with something heavy on top of it, and that crease just wouldn't come out. Hopefully once I get it mounted it will be fine. Now, I had a look to see what frames and canvases that I had. I didn't have a frame big enough, and I wasn't wanting to go out and buy one because I did have a canvas big enough. So this is just a normal canvas that you can pick up anywhere, the works. Sometimes you can pick them up in like the pound shops and things like that. If all else fails, Amazon, Hobbycraft, but obviously they're more expensive there. So this is a 30 by 40 canvas, which means it's exactly the size of this, but with the edges. So there's a few options that I've got. One is that I put the whole thing, I don't cut any of it off, I put the whole thing on the canvas, and then I can put some decorative washi tape or glitter or ribbon or something round the edge so that you're not seeing the key and all that stuff. So that is an option, but all the washi tape and things that I've got just now is Christmassy, so not very appropriate, and I really am not in the mood for getting glitter out and making a mess. I've never tried it on diamond paintings, and you would need to be really careful to cover the main part of the picture when you're sprinkling the glitter, because even although you've sealed it and everything, there probably would still be little gaps that the glitter could get in and you wouldn't get it out again, which might give it a nice look, but it's not for me just now. The other option that I've got is to do what's called a reverse canvas. Now, if you don't know what that is, basically when you look at the other side of the canvas, it looks like a frame, but you've got all the staples and the bit of canvas around it, which isn't very attractive. You could leave it like that and then paint around there, and basically the inside would pretty much be the perfect size actually for the diamond painting. So it would look like that. You would cut off the edges of the diamond painting and it would look like it's in a frame, which would be nice actually. It would be really nice like that. But it's a bit more advanced than I'm really wanting to go in this video. I might do a separate video on it if it's something that you want to see. So what I am going to do is I'm going to cut off all of the border so that I'm just left with the diamond painting, and then I'm going to pop that on the canvas. The problem is then trying to get it straight, because, and right in the middle, because if you leave too much of a gap at the top, it looks weird, and you know, you can, if it's not dead centre on a canvas, it does look a bit strange. So I was thinking about it last night and I've came up with an idea that might work to help me get it straight. So we're going to go with that. What I do want to say quickly is, don't forget to wash your toothbrushes once you've finished, or whatever it is you're using for your sealer especially, as soon as you've finished using it, or else it will go solid and you'll need to put it in the bin. I meant to say that to you yesterday. These have been washed, but I put them beside me just so that I remembered to say to you, because it's not been 24 hours for you, it's only been a minute. So it's not too late. If you haven't washed your brush that you use for sealing, go do it now and then come back to this video. Just warm water's fine. It's not, you don't need anything special. And I always wash the brush that I clean with as well, just in case any little hairs or anything I've got into it. So that's what I wanted to say about that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn you around and show you my idea for how I'm going to get this diamond painting straight. It's an experiment. It might not work, but let's just keep everything crossed. I don't mind doing experiments on camera. If they don't work, at least I can say to you, don't do that. So what I was going to say is, when it comes to trimming the edges from your diamond painting, you can use pretty much anything that you would normally use to cut things. You can use scissors. I'm not very good with scissors, I'll never get it straight. You can use like an X-Acto knife type thing, like a craft knife. Where's mine? Like that sort of thing. I have got one that goes over my finger as well and is really good. I don't know where that is. I've been really good at tidying up bits and pieces and getting it organised, but my everyday stuff drawer is a mess. I don't know where that is. You will need a ruler if you're not using scissors. Probably disappeared with the teaspoons, the odd socks and my other scissors. You know what it's like in a house. Pens as well go missing. Anyway, so you can use an X-Acto knife type thing like a craft knife, you can use scissors, or I'm going to try this, which is a rotary blade. I suppose you could use like a guillotine type as well, like a paper trimmer. I've never tried that, I don't know how it would work. But my mum gave me this, which is a rotary cutter. I don't know if it's going to be sharp enough, but I'm going to give it a go and see, and if not, then I'll either use scissors or the X-Acto knife. So this is what I'm going to try first, but anything that you've got to hand. The thing about diamond painting, it can get really expensive if you want to get all the proper best of the best equipment. What I did, I've got a lot of the equipment now, but I built that up over years. It's not something, you don't need to get everything straight away so that you can do diamond painting. Like the wee roller, the brayer tool roller thing that I was using yesterday, you don't need that. You can just get like an empty tin or anything that's round, a rolling pin, anything that you've got lying about, you can really do it cheaply or expensive. The same with the frame. I could have gone out and bought a big frame for it, but why? I've got a canvas sitting here. If you've not got a frame or a canvas, if you've got any like chipboard type stuff, anything like that, that's just basically going to make it a little bit sturdier for you to display on your wall, you can use anything. Just use your imagination. We'll Blue Peter it. If anybody is not, is Blue Peter just a British thing? I'm not sure. If you're not in Britain, if you don't know what Blue Peter is, it was like a kids, teens show where they did all sorts. It was like a magazine type show but aimed at kids. And one of the things they always did was some sort of craft, and they usually used sticky black plastic. But they would show you how to do crafts with things that you would have lying about. And if you did really well, you got a Blue Peter badge. Anyway, I'm totally digressing. I'm going to put you overhead now and let you see how I get on trying to use a rotary cutter on this. Right, now you obviously want to make sure that you've got a protective surface down if you're using a blade to cut things. This old cutting mat of mine is ancient now, it's filthy and it's not very flat because it's a fold away one, but we're just going to go with it because it's all I've got. Now, what my idea was for trying to get it straight is, because it's exactly the right size, if I leave the edges on at first but cut away the corners, I would then hopefully be able to put the canvas to line up that bit so that it's straight, and just put a pencil line round those bits. And then when I cut everything else away, I've got a guide of where I'm going to stick it. That's my idea. I don't know if it will work. In theory, it sounds like it should, but we're not sure in practice. We will find out. So I'm not going to cut away the full edge just now. I'm just going to cut away 2 corners. Obviously, you've got a line of drills going straight down there, so you want to be careful that you don't cut them, which I have done in the past. You want to get a line as straight as possible and as close to the drills as you can without actually cutting the drills. So let's see what happens here. Let's see. Strictly speaking, with a rotary cutter, you should just be able to do it once, I think, and it should come away. What is cutting? Not overly great, but it is cutting. There we go. And any little bits like that we can just take off at the end. So if I just do about that much just now, got a wee bit left there, I'll just in fact take smaller scissors. I don't want to pull it and distort it, so I'll just do that. And then I'm going to do the same with this bit here. Right, so we've now got one corner exposed. Going to do the same with this corner now. There we go. Just check. Yeah, you need to keep a wee eye if you're cutting like that to not cut sort of underneath the drill so they're sticking at the edge. Now it won't be 100% straight, but it's homemade at the end of the day. If it's not 100% straight, it's not that big a deal. And you could always, like I said earlier, once it's on the canvas, if you want to finish it off, you could, I don't know, you could put washi tape or something like that on it. Or the other thing that you can do is, before you actually put the paint on the canvas, because there's going to be a white border left, if you want, you could actually paint the edges of the canvas so that, you know, maybe a nice light yellow, and that way it's going to be sitting on a nice light yellow background rather than white. It's up to you. I'm not very good at painting, so I'm not going to bother. And it's an extra step, having to wait for the paint to dry and everything, so I'm not going to bother, but that is an idea. Again, it's just using your imagination. Whatever you think's going to look good, go for it. It's yours at the end of the day. And if it doesn't turn out the best, so what? Display it in whatever craft room you want, or put it in a drawer if you really don't like it. But keep it, don't throw it out, because it's a good indication of how far you've came when you get further down the line and you do it more often. This is a faff. This is why, I mean, I love these diamond paintings once they're up and displayed, but this is why I like the ones that are already mounted on canvas, like the ones that I've picked up at the range. I've not started yet. And you can get some from Craft Buddy as well that are already on canvases. They're more expensive. You also get some that come with frames. Again, they're more expensive, but it's so much easier. Anyway, now that I've done this, I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to take my canvas, pop this down here, and I'm hoping if I line up as best as I can the bottom and the edges, looks about right. And then if I take my pencil and I'm just going to put a light pencil mark there and there. So when I come to actually mount it on the frame, on the canvas, dirty already, that's what I hate about these canvases, they get dirty so easily, I'm going to know how to line it up. That's the idea. So I'm going to speed you up at this point, because all I'm going to do is trim the rest of this off. Noticed that halfway through I gave up with the rotary cutter. It just isn't sharp enough. I don't know if it's just a rubbish rotary cutter. It's brand new. I don't know if it's just rubbish or if they're not good enough for this sort of thing. So I'm guessing for me a mixture between scissors and a craft knife is the best way to go. The thing with the craft knife is, if you've not got your line of drills exactly straight, it is a little bit difficult, but never mind. So I'm just going to take a nice small thin pair of scissors and I've got my glasses on for this bit. I'm just going to trim any bit of the canvas that you can still see. Obviously once it's up on a wall or wherever, you're unlikely to see it anyway. But if you know it's there, it'll annoy you if you're anything like me. If you are putting it in a frame, you might not have to trim it. It depends on the frame. If you've got a frame that's got like the mouth in it, the mouth might actually cover, or you can make your own mouth to cover over the edges so that you're not having to go through all this. but I've found trying to get a frame the exact size for diamond paintings is quite awkward. It's very expensive, but it's worthwhile looking out if you're beside any charity shops, anything like that. Quite often they will have like pictures in frames that they're selling really quite cheaply. It's a good idea to pick things up when you see them, because even though you might not have a need for them at the time, it's a good thing to keep hold of if you see them at a decent price, because frames are expensive. Hope you're not just seeing my head here. This is a one take kind of thing. I can't glue it all back together and redo it. So if it's a bit of a disaster, I'll learn from it. No such things as mistakes, just learning experiences. That's what we always said when we were at the dancing. My mum still does. I used to teach line dancing, and Granny Annie still does. And we would always say to anybody if they make a mistake, don't worry, it's not a mistake, it's I can't remember the word now. Oh, that's going to annoy me. It'll come back to me. This is another reason why it's good to seal your diamond paintings, because if you try to do this when it's not sealed, and that's why I pay close attention to the edges, because if they're not totally sealed and stuck down at the edges, you might find that they end up, the drills at the edges fall off, which you don't want. Variation, that's the word. We used to say it's not a mistake, it's a variation, because variations are something that sometimes choreographers put into their dances so that it looks really cool for more advanced people. So you say that wasn't a mistake, it was a variation. I meant to do that. Right, I think that's as good as it's going to get. What a difference already, isn't it? Just having the edges taken off it makes a big difference. Let's talk about what we're going to use to stick the diamond painting to the canvas. As far as I'm aware, you can use pretty much any craft glue that is suitable for material, because bear in mind, it's a type of material that the diamond painting's on. So you want something that's going to be suitable for material. I'm sure I've used Mod Podge in the past. Is that going to be straight when that's on there, lining up? That's it in the corners. That looks about straight, doesn't it? Oh, yeah, that looks fairly straight. Yeah, I'm sure I've used Mod Podge in the past, but one of the things that I like to use is a spray adhesive, because it's just quite a bit easier to me and it works quicker, it dries quicker. So I'm going to go and get mine, bear with me. Now, if I remember right, the very first thing that I ever used spray mount wise was carpet adhesive, because it was all I had lying about, and I thought I'm going to give it a go, and it did work, but it was a wee bit yellow, so I try to stay away from that. It is still in my drawer though, but you get a couple of different types. So I've got this 3M spray mount, and it's repositionable, which is good, because if you put it down you think, oh, that's a wee bit squint, you can lift it up and put it down again. So there's that. And I've also got this stick and spray. It's a Crafter's Companion one, and again it's repositionable, and it says it's designed for use with unmounted rubber stamps and much more. So this is really aimed at stamps, but I'm sure I've used it for diamond painting, but I know I definitely have with this, so I'll just stick with this today. But I think generally any kind of spray mount that is repositionable, any type of craft glue that is strong but dries clear and is suitable for material, I think it should be fine. This is spray mount adhesive, provides an excellent initial adhesion but can be repositioned. Shake well, align nozzle with black dot, apply light even coat to a surface, one surface only, 15 to 20 centimetres even from the surface. Let it dry for 20 to 30 seconds until tacky, and then press into position. So let's give it a go. Now, the other thing that I learned the hard way is don't spray your adhesive onto the canvas that you're mounting it onto, because you don't know where the picture's going to go. And if you end up with the adhesive around the edges, all the dust and dirt and hairs and everything will stick to it. So I always spray it onto the back of the canvas. I am going to close my laptop so I don't spray that. And I might actually put my canvas over it like that, so that it's not, I'm not accidentally going to spray it. Give it a good shake. You can get spray mount like this on Amazon, eBay, craft stores, Hobbycraft, that sort of thing. Align the nozzle with the black dot, so there is a dot there. I'm going to align the nozzle. Don't know why we do that, I take it that opens it. Here we go. Do it in a well ventilated room as well. If you've got a garage, do it there. I usually do it in the utility room with the back door open, and that way there's loads of ventilation. However, for video purposes, I'll be okay just doing it this once. So 15 to 20 centimetres. Oh, it does stick. There we go. Oh, oh, I'll be flying the rest of the day. Oh, you can definitely tell the difference when you're not ventilated. If I don't finish this video, it's been nice knowing you. Right, so we need to leave it 20 to 30 seconds until it gets tacky. Do you know what the smell reminds me of? I don't know if any of you are like me, old enough to remember when you used to get gas at the dentist to get a teeth out rather than an injection. They would basically give you gas to knock you out so that you were sleeping. That is what it smells like. Oh, anyway. That feels quite tacky. So, that looks lined up. I'm going to turn you around so you can see this properly. What I was going to say there is, it might be, oh, I'll put that back on, is that better? It might actually be an idea, if you're using that, to put some double-sided sticky tape around the edges of it as well, excuse me, so that you're spraying it. But the thing is, you could probably use double-sided sticky tape. I don't know if it would be strong enough to hold it over time, but I don't like double-sided sticky tape in that if I need to move it slightly once it's down, you're stuffed. So you could actually spray the middle of it, have double-sided tape around the edge, and then once you're sure it's where it should be, you can take the other bit of tape off, if you know what I mean, so the edges are stuck down well. But to me, I think this is looking okay. I'm going to turn it round and let you see. Look, no hands. It's sticking on, it's staying up. Yay! I think that's brilliant. And there we have it. There we have our completed diamond painting, and it's straight. It's as straight as I've ever managed to get one, so that is a good idea. Just expose the top two corners, put pencil lines, and you can't see the pencil lines on there now. If you could just rub them out anyway. I'm impressed with that. Isn't that looking brilliant? And you can imagine what it would have looked like if I painted the canvas maybe a nice light yellow. It's up to you, but I think that is fantastic. I'm going to get Jack to put hooks on the wall because I'm rubbish at things like that and I can't reach high enough in the wheelchair. I'll get Jack to put hooks in the wall so that I can put that up. And I want to say a huge thank you to my lovely friend Christine, who actually sent this to me. And I absolutely love it. I'm gonk mad, and this is definitely one that I can leave up all year, whereas a lot of the ones that I do are Christmas, and I would leave them up all year, but Jack isn't keen. But I think that is really nice. Can we see the shimmer? Is the camera picking up the shimmer? Yay! I absolutely love it. So that is how I finish a canvas, a diamond painting canvas that needs to be displayed somehow. I do prefer, like I said, doing the key rings, the ornaments, the coasters, the ones that are already mounted on canvas. If you wonder what I'm talking about, hold on. I've not actually opened this yet, but this was from the range. It was relatively inexpensive. Yes, it's Christmas gonks, but it actually tells you there that it's already stretched canvas on a high quality wooden frame. I'll just quickly open it. Look, it comes with all the drills and things inside it. Yeah, look, it's already on the frame. So I suppose that's another way that you could do it if you've got a canvas that's slightly smaller. You could fold the edges over the edges that we cut off. You could fold them over the side of the frame and staple them on, but that's too much hassle. So yeah, this one is already on canvas, so as soon as it's done, I would just brush it, seal it and display it. I might start doing this now that it's out. We'll see. It's February. I did say that I would start Christmas crafting in February, so I might. Anyway, I hope this has been useful for you. If so, please hit the thumbs up button. Please feel free to share it with anybody that you know who likes diamond painting and doesn't know what to do with them at the end, because it took me ages to stop just shoving them in a drawer, which is a complete waste of time. So yeah, hopefully that will have helped you. If you want to see how you do a reverse canvas, I can show you that in a separate video if you like, but I think that's looking really good. I managed to get almost to the end of this before Hugo started going nuts. Anyway, if you've got any tips for me, you know, maybe something that I did that I didn't have to do, something that you find easier, because I'm by no means an expert. It's just what I've learned over the years that I'm passing on to you. I am not claiming to be an expert in any way, shape or form. But if you've got any ideas for mounting your canvas, framing your canvas, cutting the edges, anything like that, please let me know, because my light just went off. My computer's unplugged, it must have run out of power. Yeah, I'm by no means an expert. I welcome constructive criticism. Please don't be nasty. There's no room for nastiness on this channel or anywhere in the world. But yeah, constructive criticism is always welcome. So if you think there's a better way I can do it, if you've found an easier way, please let me know in the comments below. I will always reply to your comments as long as YouTube shows me them. You are also welcome to email me at any point or message me on Instagram. My email and Instagram details are always in the description box of all my videos. So yeah, and I do love hearing from you. So I'm going to head off now, and yeah, hope that's helped you. I will see you in our next one. Thanks everyone. Bye.